This is an assembly video of the URRED Power Loveseat Recliner sofa. So as you can see, I kind of got a little bit of a head start, which is a good thing because I made some mistakes, miss following the instructions. And when we do the other side, I'll be able to show you the mistakes I made so you don't have to make those same mistakes. And the reason I built it a little out of order is because my boxes, it comes in 3 different boxes, which I'll show you which comes in each box. So there's box A, B, and C, and each box has different components. And you can see that as I lay this stuff out, when I open the next box, then that adds to it. So you can see everything laid out that you get. You are gonna need a couple of tools. They do include an Allen wrench, which this is what I use to put the first half together. But to speed things up for you, I'm going to use this. So you don't have to watch me hand do this the whole time. You're also gonna need a 10mm wrench to tighten up these little bolts, which are right here. And those are gonna be used to attach the 3 components at the bottom. But we'll get to that in a moment. Now, the first step is to take these pieces. So this is C, and we've got D. Now, these brackets are gonna go on the outside, and you're gonna line these up so that they are matching. And that looks pretty good. And next we're going to take part G, which is the part that is going to hold the cup. And I made the mistake because in the photo it shows this being inserted now, but don't do it. Take this out. You're gonna put this in after you put the cover on, because if you put this first and then you put the cover on, then you gotta take the whole cover off again. So this will save you some time. And a little important tip is this has a thick side and a thin side. So the thin side is going to go facing the edge. So the thick side goes back, the thin side goes facing the edge. If you do it the other way around, this end piece here is not gonna fit on. So let's screw this in. Now I'm not gonna use the drill to tighten everything down. I'm gonna use the Allen wrench for that because I wanna make sure I don't accidentally strip out those hex nuts. The next step is to connect E1 right here. Now keep in mind, all of this, there are 2 sets of all of these. So you're gonna just do this whole process here 2 times. And this piece will end up being this armrest over here. So this is the right armrest, and I already did the left armrest. And the way this E piece is oriented, the curved piece goes into the cup, so it'll make a nice smooth transition. Next, we're going to take the F1 piece and we're going to attach that on the back side. And again, you're going to have the curved end at the top by the cup holder. All right, so now that we've got all 3 of these smaller pieces attached, we are going to attach the back wall so that it'll make an armrest. Now, I don't tighten these down right away because you want to have this be able to move a little bit just in case you can't get the holes to line up easily, which is often the case. All right, so this piece is done, and the next step is to slide the slip-on cover over top. And to know the right way to do this, you're just gonna find this spot here, which is where the cup holder is going to go, and just make sure that lines up with the actual cup holder, and it just slips right over top. And then you push that cup holder area, push that down into the hole, and then you're gonna just make sure everything is nice and snug. And there are pieces of Velcro on the bottom of this that you can use to kind of secure it down. And you wanna make sure that these are open. So that's why you have slits in here. These are going to need to be open because you're gonna slide this onto the side of the couch. All right, and there you go. And if you're wondering what these little hooks are, these little handles, those are going to be so the wire for the remote control is going to come around the back of the couch, and then the actual remote will go through here, and then it'll just hang, so it'll always be easy to access. Now the next step is to take the base, and I already did this on this one, so I'll show you what you need to do. Is you're going to find the power cord, so that's this one here, and you're going to go ahead and cut this zip tie. And that way you have more access to these wires, which you are going to need easy access to. I'm also going to take off this little twisty tie, so I have a little bit more length with that one. All right, so that's good. And there is, on the other sofa, there was another wire which was right around here, where I cut another zip tie, which was strapped here. So on this one, you'll see there's a zip tie here. So this can be cut. You don't want to cut any of these because those are holding on the LED light strips at the bottom. So I'm going to cut this one, and then there's this wire. It makes it easily accessible. Just make sure not to cut the actual wire. There we go. So now we have easy access to this as well. Okay, and now the fun part. So this is the front end of the couch. We're going to take the armrest that we just built, and we're going to slide these golden colored brackets onto the golden colored brackets on the side. And that goes like this. And there you go, starting to look more and more like a recliner. So at this point, we're caught up with the process that I made over here. The only step that we have left that you missed before that we're gonna do again is attaching this center console to the seat, and then the center console to this seat as well. And we're gonna do that using brackets and using these little bolts, which that's why you're gonna need that 10mm wrench to hold this on the other side once you tighten it down. Right now, I have this on here very loosely. I have not tightened these down at all. Now, an important tip with this is that the holes here don't line up with this one. What you're gonna do is put these side by side, and then this bracket, one will go into the center console and the other one will go into the seat. I was trying to get this to fit on top of that somehow because I couldn't understand the photo, but it's actually, they're not actually touching each other. They're just connected like this. You're also gonna get these little feet. So these feet are gonna go on the uppermost front and the uppermost back. And then the two below that are gonna be just regular, so a nut and a bolt. But this one, you're going to add this because see, these are actually the legs that are gonna be touching the floor. So let me rearrange this so I can put this one next to that, and then we'll screw it all together. All right, so we're gonna flip this on its back before we do it. And I almost forgot one step, and that's to finally put the cup holder in place. So now this is good to go. We're gonna get these side by side, flip this onto the back, and now get that lined up as closely as you can. And then we're gonna use the brackets to attach them like so. So remember the top one, you're gonna use the little foot. And then you're gonna use this on the back side. And definitely do not tighten these down yet, because we're gonna wanna adjust this. As you can see, these have a lot of give, so you can get it to adjust just right. Also, the nut is only used on the actual seats. On the center console, you don't need it because the screws will just screw right into it, because that's actually threaded. Now you can see that doesn't quite reach, so I need to move this a little bit closer to the center console. And now it reaches with no problem. And we repeat the same thing on the bottom. And you know what? I already made a mistake. I forgot to put the foot on this upper one here. So we got to remove that. I'm going to do the little foot first this time so I don't make that mistake again. Once you get these all connected, you're going to want to just make sure that you have them in the position that you want. So I like them to be kind of close together, nice and snug. So I'm going to now push this together and then go ahead and tighten everything down. Now for the brackets that are attached to the seats, that's when you're going to need your wrench. Make sure that is the right direction. And again, you're gonna wanna make sure this is pushed forward as much as you're gonna want it to be. I like it snug. So I'm using my body to lean on it while I tighten this up. And the same at the bottom. All right, now we're gonna flip it down, but before we do that, I wanna make sure that all of our cables are easily accessible. Okay, the next step is to attach the back rests. So this will be the left side. This is the center. Now that center one does have a plug, so make sure you keep that accessible. And by the way, this does fold down, and you have two plugs here in a USB-C and a regular USB, so that's pretty awesome. And to attach these, we're going to line these. There's like a slide here and a slide here, and then there's pointy metal parts here. You're gonna slide those, line them up and slide them in together. Just like that. Oop, I had the wrong side. This one, the one with the bracket here goes on the left side, and the one with the bracket on the right goes on the right side. It's really starting to take shape. The next step is to attach these C1 and C2 pieces. Now this is going to go over here, and again, there's a bracket, and you're just gonna slide that in. There's one. That's a little tricky because this pad kind of gets in the way. If you pull this pad back, it gives you a little bit better angle. And then it slides right into place. And we got our pillows. And the final step is to plug in all the electronics, and also to put the drawer. There's a drawer that goes right here. So the final step is just assembling or attaching all of the electronic pieces, which I've put in the drawer that's gonna go in here. So let's do that next. First, we're gonna take one of the remotes, and you can see there are two attachments here. One looks like this, and one looks like that. We're gonna find those. Oh, here's one of them right here. I'm gonna feed this out the back side though, so this can come up the back and around the side. Here's a better point of view. So this attachment here is going to attach to this piece, and those just click in together. Just make sure it's facing the right direction. And then you're gonna go behind the couch and find this piece here, which has this little flap on it, and you're going to attach this end that's also part of the remote control. You're going to attach this to that, and then squeeze this down and lock it into place. Now there's also this cord, and this is going to plug into the main power, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll come back to this piece. All right, so this is the center console plug. I'm just going to plug that into my power strip. So that is ready to go. And then we're going to plug in the main unit. So the way this works is you have this Y splitter here. And what we're going to do is take this piece here, and we're going to plug this in. So there's a thick side and a thin side. Just line those up appropriately, and then click that into place. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other side. So same idea. Line up the thick one, click that into place, and now find the end of this, and you're going to click that. You're going to find this box. Same thing. There's a thick part and a thin part. Line those up, lock them in place. Then you're going to put this here, and then you can plug in the entire unit. And it should be good to go. I'm gonna push this thing up against the couch, and we will test it out. Final thing that you gotta plug in is gonna come out of the center console, and that is this USB plug. And they do include this piece here. This cable seemed really short, but if you pull on it, there's actually a lot of slack that makes it pretty long. and that is how you're going to connect your Bluetooth speakers. Now, when you plug it in and you turn it on, you're going to look for JHNMO1. I don't know what that means, but that's the only way I could get it to connect, but it finally did connect. And there you go, the entire thing is now assembled. I have this thing about maybe 2 or 3 inches away from the wall, but when it reclines, it doesn't go back, so you can save a lot of space that way. It reclines very far, so you could easily take a nap on this thing and be very comfortable. Of course, you have this that flips down, and if you want to read, this is kind of neat too. If you open up the drawer, they include a reading light. So you can either put this here and plug it right in, and now you can bend this to shine on whatever it is that you're reading. It also comes with a bunch of different filters as well. And the filters just slide into the top. This one's actually a moon, so you could shine this on the wall behind you. I don't know if you can see that if it's dark enough, but that's a moon, which is really cool. So there you go. Now you know exactly how to put your couch together. I hope that helps.